person who means the most to me. My life is nothing compared to his. Doing this is easy if it's for him.
Do anything. What should I have done for her? Does this mean that dying was the only thing Olga could do? There wasn't any way we could save her? Why did Polka have to suffer? What did she ever do to deserve that? What is wrong with this world? Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! You come barging into our world without asking, and now you leave just because you feel like it! This is your dream, right? If it's a dream, then why don't you do something? Please. You have to do something.
A dream. Is this really a dream?
Thank you, everyone. I know it didn't last very long, but really, this was the best time I've ever had in my life. If I blow him a kiss, I wonder, will it reach him up there? I hope so. I really do.
Can human beings who create waves of ugly desire ever become like the seawater that's stirred by the beauty of the moon?
No one wants to touch someone like me. Someone who can use magic. After all, they might get sick too.
Well, of course the bread you're eating is much more important than the bread of a stranger. Huh? Wait. How is it any different?
All around us, the world is fading at an incredibly rapid rate. And yet, you say you aren't able to see it. Well, perhaps there's a reason for that. Perhaps you can't see it because you are fading away even faster than the world.
If you're conscious of the fact that you're having a dream, and you can actually say that this is just a dream, then can you really be sure that it's a dream at all?
Can a picture taken through a bent piece of glass called a lens really accurately reflect what happens at a single moment in time? It seems to me that your eyes would have to be pretty bent themselves for that to be possible.
Something that people think is useful but can actually be harmful in the long run? Well, the only thing I can think of right now is mineral powder. But I'm sure there are lots of other things out there. Maybe if you think about it for a while, you can come up with some things that I don't know about.
I think that everyone knows deep down that some things that might seem useful to us right now could actually be hiding a danger to the future. And yet there are many people out there who simply refuse to accept that. Are people really so foolish that they aren't willing to sacrifice those little conveniences for the sake of the future?
If people are too deeply involved in a problem, is it really not possible for them to realize what's wrong until it's too late to do anything about it?
The standards for justice in this world are decided amidst the driving ambitions and turbulent emotions of a small handful of people who just happen to possess the greatest influence. Well, you certainly have been born into a difficult era.
A lifetime to build, a moment to destroy. Will human beings ever become masters of creation, or are we only destined for destruction? I was acting out a part up until the moment I died. Do you plan to spend your whole life pretending to be someone you're not?
Are you sure you know the difference between things that can be forgotten right away, like letters written in the sand, and really important things that must never be forgotten, like words carved into stone? It's an important distinction to make.
Without realizing it, people tend to act in ways that suit their own best interests. And before they know it, they've turned all their efforts to seeing just how powerful or successful they can become. It can't always have been like that. Things must have been different in the beginning. Try to remember the feelings you had when you first started out.
Can't we make better use of the energy we spend maintaining our feelings of mistrust? There must be a way. If we could all do that somehow, I think it would make it much easier to live a life filled with light.
When I realized that I had no hope of beating Claves, I ran away. What about you? Are you like me? Do you run away from situations where you know you can't win, too?
The view of Retardondo is so beautiful at night. But which part of that view is the most beautiful thing about it? The flickering of the city lights below? Or the twinkling of the stars in the night sky above?
As the leader of Baroque, I am responsible for making the people of my country suffer under the fear of impending war. The citizens of Baroque are innocent people, whose only crime is living in the kingdom I rule. And there are others in this world who suffer similar misfortune. Remember to be very grateful if you are lucky enough to happen to live in a country at peace.
I believe that the future holds infinite hope for all of us. So no matter what the odds, however slim the chance, I always try to hold on to that hope. I would never want to give up on something without at least trying. What about you? What would you have done in my place? Would you still draw a fortune if you already knew what it was going to say?
Suppose you could not be sure whether or not there was any ground behind you. Knowing that, would you still have the courage to take a step backward? At certain times in life, does it not take much more courage to take a step back than to take a step forward? Would you be courageous enough to do it?
If you live with your eyes closed to whatever is difficult to face, does that mean those things don't exist?
People with brightly glowing astras always have to suffer in the end. Is the place where you are a miserable world like that? Don't you want to change it? You can't just sit back and accept a destiny of death. You have to fight back, resist. You have to try as hard as you can. After all, that's what life's all about, isn't it?
You can give up when it's really, truly, absolutely the very end. Until then, you gotta try and do whatever you can. I guarantee that you still have time.
That's right. You still have time.
Absolutely. Now is when it really begins. Just take a moment to steady yourself. I know what it feels like to have a future filled with doubt. To feel overwhelmed. To think it's all over. To want to give up on everything. But there's no use just thinking about it. You can't hesitate. You need to act upon it. Since in the end, all you can do is try as hard as you can.
You don't have to rush. There's still time. You have infinite potential after all. I promise you, even now, you can still do it. All you have to do is the very best you can. I guarantee you still have time.
Death is a reality that is far too real. I've walked this dreamlike journey within a dream, so that once and for all, I could accept that. And now, at this moment, all things shall reach their finale.
Mr. Chopin's time of death, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mommy, why are there waves in the sea?
Well, darling, there are waves because of the moon.
Because of the moon?
That's right. The moon charms the water in the ocean with its beauty. And because the moon is so beautiful, the seawater just can't sit still.
Is that true? Really?
Really? Don't you feel your heart start fluttering inside of you when you look at the moon?
I do! What about the puddle? Will it make waves when the moon comes out too?
No, dear. There's not enough water. You need lots and lots of water, like the ocean, before it can make any real waves.
Oh, I see. But that's weird. Why can't a little bit of water make waves too?
I won't let you die, Polka. After all, you've only been alive for 14 years. A 14-year-old girl must live her life.
The amount of water is the most important part of creating waves. That can be said about people as well. There are many things in this world that can charm people's hearts, just like the moon charms the sea. Things like wealth, vanity, status, image, and power.
When the sun is out, they hide in their buds and then open their blossoms only when it is truly important.
Bigger and stronger.
Drawing in even the faintest amount of light, they decisively embody it. And in doing so, reflect something that people can never see.
The number of people grows.
They wait for the moment when the world is trapped in darkness, and then blossom with glowing light.
Terrible conflicts.
On the grassy plain, they paint a picture of the star-filled night
This is
sky that
probably
was
too hard
blotted
for you
out
to
by the city
understand.
lights.
I guess.
Isn't it pitch black around you? Isn't the world covered in darkness?
If something like that
Now,
ever were to happen
come.
to your life,
It's
your
2
only
o'clock in the
choice
morning.
might be to jump into that sea.
The time for you to blossom has come.
Because when you do, those big waves will calm down.
Do you remember?
It may be
You said it was
difficult
up to
at
me
times, but
whether
if
I
you
wanted to
try
call
your
them
best,
Heaven's Mirror.
You'll bring joy to the
Definitely.
person who means the most to you.
Really?
I'm still allowed to choose, am I not?
Okay!
Well, then I shall make my definitive choice. Right now.
It's insulting to be
That flower that sown as a loser. That flower that boldly challenges the darkness. I choose to call it Heaven's Mirror.
Oh, Mommy, I'm sorry. But I think someone's calling me.